My name is Henrik Luindblad. I am Heritage Officer at the Diocese of Lund and also Vice President of the FRH Committee, that is the new International Scientific Committee on Places of Religion and Ritual. Well, I was very inspired because it makes you think and trying to remember the most important moments you had when you visited a religious heritage. In my case, a church. I'm working with churches. And also, I liked really the personal touch in this initiative. Collecting stories, that is very important. And that's what we have wanted to do when we have made professional assessments of religious buildings and churches. And we have, in a way, failed because we haven't had a method for this. So it shouldn't only be the professional values, but also the values that people, the people that visiting churches, people that working with churches, their values and their memories from these important buildings and their important moments when they've been visiting. Okay. Well, I work as a heritage professional. To me, this is the importance of religious heritage has been essential for, in my case, for decades, but as a professional, and the same with many of my colleagues, maybe we haven't been that good in promoting, explaining and informing ourselves about these values, the values that all people put on this important heritage, because it is a heritage that we don't own it. Even the owners of the properties don't own the heritage and the heritage values. The values belong to all, and therefore we need to have this dialogue among these values and what is important, and we need to improve this dialogue as well. And that's also why I think the torch is such a good method for this. The reason for this is that we didn't have any scientific evidence for the trends we're seeing all over Europe, that we have more and more redundant churches, redundant religious buildings. And what is the consequences of this? We can read about this in the newspapers, in sometimes also desperate calls from the parishes. But what is happening and why, and what instruments are there to protect these buildings? What will happen in the future? What consequences will the general societal trends be for this heritage? So what we did is to collect data from 11 countries with how many buildings do they have, what is the dominant religion, what is the what does the heritage legislation look at, are these protected or not, what is the economy, are there any state subsidies for taking care and maintain these buildings? And what are the general trends concerning the redundancy situation. And now we have made this kind of structured study for these 11 countries, and we also were able to draw some conclusions of this study. Okay. We saw in our study that the traditional way of using these buildings is very important. And in Sweden, for instance, we have a strong tradition. It's a very secular country, but many people feel attached to the churches, and that is very important, and that is also motivation for a strong protection in the law, and also for these very generous subsidies we have. We could compare this with other countries where these traditions doesn't exist anymore or have been in decrease. And then you don't have this kind of protection, which is very important. What they can have instead is maybe a better promotion of heritage, but promotion in itself doesn't help. No. We also need to have money and protection and regular maintenance of these buildings and these sites. That is very important.